Good morning. Welcome to RealE Talk with Lisa and Tiffany, where we speak fluent sarcasm. We love to have fun with this stuff. Last week we talked about due diligence. Today we want to talk about earnest money. We as realtors live in a world of paperwork and contracts, and there are things like an offer to purchase. There's a listing agreement. And this is the one document that we want to talk a little bit about, and these are terminations. An exclusive right to sell listing agreement would be reviewed as we represent a seller, and we would explain exactly what happens with earnest money. Earnest money, what is it? Well, that's a good faith down payment that a buyer makes to a seller to possibly secure that contract and get the dream of their home of their dreams.
Can they ever get it back?
They can get it back. We live in a world of time is of the essence, where 5 p.m. is your drop dead date, your drop dead time on due diligence date. And the due diligence period is that time frame where a buyer is allowed the opportunity to investigate the house. It could be surveys, it could be inspections, it could be, title research, anything that needs to be investigated or looked into a little bit during the course of buying a property. So if you as a buyer were to back out of a contract before 5 p.m. on a due diligence date, then you would typically get that earnest money back.
So who's holding if I'm putting down earnest money, who's holding that throughout that period, I guess?
Okay, good question. So as we said with due diligence, that money goes straight to the seller. They get that money and they can do whatever they want with it. The earnest money is held in a trust account, typically by the buyer's attorney. Some real estate firms still have trust accounts, but because of some issues in the past with commingling of funds and issues that can arise, it's just easier to have that buyer's agent, the buyer's attorney, hold those funds.
Okay.
They're good at it. They know what they're doing. We trust them, so we just let them do it. As I said, a buyer can get the earnest money back. There are circumstances where the seller may back out, and that's where these documents come in really handy. Whether a buyer or a seller decides to terminate a contract, there's a document for it. There's a standard termination of contract, and there's also a termination of contract with or without release of those earnest money funds. And we always want it in writing. You want everybody to sign off on it, to be on the same page. So just sending an email or text message between agents to terminate is not cool. You really want it on paper. There are circumstances that come up that you just wouldn't believe. People can back out of a contract for any or no reason. You don't have to have a reason to back out. We see a lot of terminations that are simply buyer's remorse type things. Maybe they've had second thoughts and they're looking at a mortgage payment well above what they expected. They love the house, but they just can't stomach that payment every month. You and I talked about, the person that's paying $2,000 in rent and they're looking at homes where the mortgage payment's going to be $3,500. That's scary.
Huge.
Love the house. It's everything you want, but committing to 30 years of $3,500 a month after sleeping on it may make you lose sleep, and that's not what you want. We don't want you eating ramen noodles for the next 30 years. That's not cool or healthy. So make sure you have an agent who knows what these contracts say, know what your rights are as a buyer or seller. And as always, we want you to call us. If you have questions, that's what we're here for. We're a resource. So get out there today. Hopefully the weather's going to be great. And as we always say here at Off-Road Realty, beep at the Jeep.